Live from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper, you are live from the Path. Are you gonna fade me out?
No. It doesn't do that. Okay, hey, you're listen to me. Listen to me. You're listening to Live from the Path. My name is Ben Foos. Thanks for joining us on the program tonight. This is going to look a little funny. It's going to sound a little funny. You don't care, but we had various bits of disaster in here.
Yeah.
And so we've completely swapped the audio infrastructure, and so it's just going to sound a little bit different. Don't be picky. But we do got to get going because it took up the whole night, and then everyone's got to go to bed. And
Yeah. We should have turned the cameras on an hour ago because Leaf got in a 30-minute fight with his chair.
Yeah.
First he claimed the chair wouldn't go up, then he traded it out for another chair, then he claimed that one wouldn't go down.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it was Leaf error the whole time.
So we traded it back and got a new chair.
Yeah, so we went back to the original chair, and then he goes, I got it. Whew.
It works.
And then all was calm again. Tonight, we have a lot of special guests. We're running short on regulars. Boova's still out doing Boova kind of things, and Pastor Dan's out doing Alaska kind of things. And so we got some guests in the studio. We're being honored with the presence of Layla Foust. Layla?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we don't do visual signals. You have to say hello.
Hi.
Good. Bryce Calkins?
Hello.
Wow.
You said say hello.
Yeah, I just didn't see that coming. That's
I
all.
feel like
and
that
then,
was coming.
Leaf Blower, Leaf Clark, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Okay, Ben's gonna do some tinkering with the numbers. He's not kidding. We really swapped out
Yeah.
45 chords and an entire soundboard, and so. But we do have a good show planned for tonight. One, we have a couple articles we're gonna go through. We have some Pope style advice, which is basically if the Pope were to come to town and everybody were gonna get on your lawn, and they're like, "Hey, Pope, you got to give us some advice, otherwise we're not leaving." What would you tell the people that would be both edifying to them, that would bring glory to God and joy to you, and tell the people so they could go ahead and disperse and get on with their happy day? So I got some Pope-style advice we're going to go through there. We got some Dear Life from the past, and we also have an exciting bit of technological development in the up-and-comings. Like, I think Life from the Path is possibly going to offer a new way to take in media. And so I just want you to think about that. I want you to pray about that and be thankful ahead of time before it shows up. But you're going to be very excited because I know I am.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Okay, so here's where we're going. Mike already said it was going on the show, and so we're going to jump right on in on it.
Yeah, I gotta
So
do
here's one of the. There was an article hanging out there. And hey, first of all, did you guys see? I saw a post from a church this week that's like, "Hey, we're taking a break for the summer. You should feel free to go somewhere else." Does this seem weird? Seem
That's
like a
really
weird thing to do?
It's like school. That's weird.
Like if your school just bailed on it and said, "Hey, we're gonna break." Here's the thing: is that like I get that people are busy, but like I'd be kind of mad if I went there because like I like to go to church. I like to meet with my people. Like I'm supposed to do that. Like the Bible points me to it, and to go, "Hey, we're not gonna do that." Like for the rest of the summer, I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to fail to meet.
Yeah, like, and we're intentionally not meeting, and like, and I think like part of the justification was like, hey, we know you're all busy with like activities and things. I'm like, boy, this just seems like the opposite way of thinking about it. Now, here's the thing: it might be their reality, and I think that is like it's a hard reality. Is that like people get involved in other things, but I don't know.
How would you guys take that in if your church decided, hey, we're just going to break for the summer? No Sunday services, no nothing. Would you be like, all right?
No,
Little free time
I
back.
would hate that.
I would probably try to figure out, like, I mean, if you have a financial problem and you literally can't get people in your church, I would a little bit understand that, but, like,
I mean,
If
Jesus
my-
talked to people for free. He found the closest hill and said, hey, gather around.
That is
Let's
true.
do this thing.
I probably wouldn't go back to that church, though. If they were willing
Yeah.
to be like, hey, don't come here.
Yeah.
Well, is this like a decision that the pastor made or a decision that like the whole church made?
They didn't air their entire dirty laundry out on
Yeah,
the,
it
on the
didn't
Facebook.
say, but like I just like so if this was our situation, even if everyone in the community said, "Hey, we're going to ball," or like we want to do picnics in the morning and have family time, like we shouldn't meet, I'd go, "Look, I'll meet. I'll be there. My doors are open. I still encourage you to show up." Like you probably couldn't convince me that it was a good idea. Like it's just a wrong pattern of life. Like I kind of get that there's a season of which whatever, you're just gone more and stuff like that. It's not like Jesus is up like getting the fly swatter out because you did not attend every Sunday. Like that's not the situation. But like by pattern saying, here's the thing that the church like it's not even like just Jesus is like weekly gatherings of God's people has been true for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and to go, no, I think we're kind of over that and we'll get to it when we get to it. Like it's just it'd be more that like it's not just a week to week thing. It's just like a mind space thing. Like, are you sure? Are
Yeah.
you sure? Like this is you going, I'm prioritizing the things that God said were important. Like that, it doesn't feel like that at all.
Plus, I mean, don't you still have to pay for the building and the people on staff? It's not like the worship pastor's like, yeah, you don't have to pay me this summer. I'm cool. You know? That's
Yeah.
a weird move.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt it was weird. It was weird. All right. So anyway, there was an article that said what you're getting. Oh no, not what you're getting wrong about the rapture. Look, here's 10 baseless practices in the church,
What's that mean?
like things that don't mean or do anything.
Oh, and that the church is doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we don't have. Again, we're trying to move, so we're not going to spend a ton of time on these. But I'm just going to see how they hit you. Okay.
All right.
First one, seeing the church through the lens of NAR. I don't even know what that is. That's out. We don't care about that one. All right. Prosecuting fellow believers through online platforms.
What?
Like social media. Like
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like finding another dude who says he believes Jesus and going after it on the net.
Okay. So this is a little bit of a problem. Like, are you guys on the socials?
not really.
Not really. No.
I watch shorts. That's about it.
Okay, on the YouTube.
That's good. Yeah, right.
So, Bryce, would you say your feed has a little bit of Jesus content coming through it?
Yeah.
Would you say all of it's good? Yeah, iffy maybe?
Most of it.
I mean, okay. So here's the thing: is like if you only come to know who Jesus is through like YouTube Shorts or Instagram, there tends to be a really shallowness to your faith, right? Because they will try to grab you with like a snippet of a Bible verse or an overall like a motivational slogan, right? And like those things are really helpful for like a day or maybe 2 days, right? But what like when stuff starts to hit a wall or you start to have to like having conversations with people who like believe the exact opposite of you and they're not kidding around. They don't want to be your friend. They don't want to talk nice about it. They hate everything that you're saying. Then the slogan that you got from Instagram that day doesn't quite hold up like the entire Word of God, right? Like the whole Bible or good solid teaching, right? And so like I think that maybe some of the problem is like since everybody has access to posting on social media, like anybody can just say, hey, this is what God says. This is what the Bible says.
Right.
And then you listen to it and go, I don't know about that. I don't think that sounds right. Right. And so then we start attacking each other, right? Like, hey, man, you're a heretic. You know what a heretic is, Layla?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, I mean, I don't really know how to describe it, but I know what it
You
is.
just like to
if
call
you were
people
like,
heretics with no
No.
base.
I've never heard that word in my life.
yeah,
I have to
no.
be
It's
dead
like-
honest.
No.
No.
isn't it
not
like
at all.
someone who? No.
It's
Wait.
it's basically
I feel
someone
like
who,
I'm thinking of something else.
okay, now I'm super interested in what you were thinking, but like it's basically someone that represents that they're teaching people the Word of God, but they're not teaching it correctly, or they're saying the wrong thing, or they're saying something to mislead you in a way.
Okay,
they're
yeah.
not being 100% transparent on what God says, and people will do this sometimes because they're afraid of people being mad at them, right? So like some of the we'll call it heretical, which comes from the word heretic, right? So some of the heretical teaching comes from people who like they know if they say this and this is a sin,
Yep.
and there's people doing it. They don't want to say that because they don't want those people to be mad at them. So they're like, well, I guess it's okay. God really says this is fine, right? Which is
Yeah.
not true. That's what we would call a heretic, right?
Okay, I was thinking of a hypocrite.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Okay,
what, like,
yeah.
When you
that's, like,
said it,
what my
I was
mind
thinking of a
like.
hairy tick. I don't know why.
What?
I don't trust
That
those
is-
guys either for multiple reasons.
Yeah, that sounds creepy.
I mean, if you're gonna leave the house, Tick, you just as well get a razor going and try to make yourself presentable. You know, so at the end of the day, like is this a problem? Yes, I think this is a problem, right? I have a
Yeah.
lot of Jesus content comes across my Instagram for sure, right? Because that's kind of where my interests are, and they know it, right?
Right.
But like it varies in stuff that's any good. Right? Like people will just post a thing and say this thing changed my life and it's a half of 1 Corinthians verse and you're like, yeah, that's great. But it's certainly not going to hold you, right?
Yeah.
And so like
Right.
so people start fighting over the internet and stuff and then we fight amongst ourselves, which is really no good. God says don't be doing that, right? You go right to a person when you have a problem with them. You don't like make it for everybody to see.
Right.
And so yes, we do this as Christians. It's not great. It's not
Yeah.
a good look for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And like, it just doesn't tend to change anybody. I don't think you are not held accountable to how people are reacting to you. Like I don't know if you've ever said a true thing to someone and it like hit them pretty hard and you could see it in their eyes that it was harming them, or like they were taking it in harsh. And so like you didn't quite keep approaching it in the same way. Like you just don't have the benefit of that, and without the ability to kind of see how people are reacting to things. Yeah, I think it's an unnecessary risk just to be able to say the thing that you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Some of these are dumb. 3, presumptuously calling for a court of heaven. I've never heard of
What
this
does
in my
that
life.
mean?
Oh, what does the first word mean?
Presumptuous.
Well, yeah. So like you're presuming, you're getting ahead of the game by calling for a court of heaven, but like I'm not quite sure what that means, and 2, it's not even presumptuous. It's like just stop. The description is for over a decade, the courts of heaven teaching has gained traction in certain circles. The idea is that one can summon a heavenly court to break generational curses and demonic strongholds. While there are kernels of truth, God is a righteous judge. Nowhere in Scripture do we see mortals initiating heavenly court sessions. In Isaiah 6, 1 Kings 22, and Revelation 5, it is always God who opens the courts, not man. To presume otherwise is to cross a line into spiritual presumption. We do not command heaven, we respond to it.
The phrase heavenly court sessions just sounds so wrong.
I've never heard
Yeah.
anyone say something like
No,
that.
that's
Yeah, me
Mhm.
either.
Seems pretty bold, doesn't it?
I've heard
Yeah.
like in the Bible them say heavenly courts, but like I don't know if like it doesn't sound like we're supposed to use.
I don't
it.
know if they work for
Right.
you, Bryce. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can just be like, "Hey, boys, I'm calling up a court.
Yeah,
Organize."
it's not like I don't know. It's not like normal court where you just be like, hey, I got a problem. Let's go to court.
Yeah, right. I'm dragging you to heavenly court.
Yeah, it's weird. 4, scheduling heavenly visitations. I don't know.
What the heck?
No, I don't.
I don't
It's a
think-
weird article.
Who's this guy's hanging with
writes
the wrong
this?
people? 5, claiming titles with no fruit.
Okay, talk to me.
We live in an era where many claim the titles of bishop, apostle, or even doctor without the corresponding fruit, character, or qualifications. Titles without transformation are empty. If one has not been tested, mentored, or affirmed by a credible spiritual authority, then claiming these roles is nothing short of self-deception. Worse, many now flaunt degrees from unaccredited diploma mills, which undermines the credibility of true scholarship and ministry. The kingdom is not advanced by titles, but by substance.
Okay, so maybe I'm looking at this differently, but like, first of all, I don't know what is the word bishop in the Bible? Is this a hierarchy within regular churches or whatever?
It's a translation question, but I mean,
Okay.
yes and no.
So I guess here's what I would say is overall, like pastor, apostle, deacon, whatever, all these things, right? Like all the titles that we find that's in church culture, we look at them as jobs, and I think the Bible describes them as responsibilities, right? So like you can be a pastor and it's not your job, right? Like you don't work at a church and the church doesn't pay you, but you have a responsibility if God has called you to be a pastor. You're a pastor whether you get paid for it or not.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing the work.
Yeah.
Right? And the same thing is true with an elder or a deacon, right? It's not a job, it's a responsibility. And so like every single one of those titles that they just said, like that only matters if you consider it your job or your employment or your title. When God says this is the responsibility of an elder, this is the responsibility of a teacher, this is the responsibility of a preacher or a pastor or whatever. And so like it's very Western culture, like America stuff that says this is a job. People will pay me to do this. Where
Right.
as far as the Bible is concerned, like it could pay you nothing. Like you could be out making tents like Paul and still be a preacher. And so like whether it's your full-time job or you're paid by an organization is completely moot on how the Bible talks about it as a responsibility, not necessarily a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree. And to your point, like these are words that they're just even descriptions. Like somebody eventually capitalized them, but like if you were to look at the Greek New Testament, it's not like apostle has a capital A on it. So when Paul says I'm an apostle, it's not like he goes I'm a titled apostle. He's like I'm one sent. I'm a sent one. I'm one of whom Jesus sent.
Yeah.
Right. So even this titling that people are latching on to are things where like they're just like I'm a disciple, I'm a student of Jesus, I'm an apostle, I'm someone sent by Jesus. Like okay, and so these are descriptions of movements and relationships. They're not titles, they're not jobs, and so like yeah, we and to claim I get actually the only thing I would maybe I hesitate on is there like someone providing credentials by a spiritual authority. Well, like what does that mean? Like who is that? Somebody who went to like a human institution of learning? Because like I'm not sure that's what I should consider to be the reason you can credential other
Yeah,
people.
old Peter was School of Hard Knocks. You know what I'm saying?
So I guess my suggestion was like, let's just lose the credentials altogether. Like, what do you even care?
Actually, I was just thinking about getting business cards with Apostle Mike on it. You think that would be weird if I introduced myself as Apostle Mike?
Yes.
Everybody?
Probably. Yeah.
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 2 votes no. Okay.
That means one vote yes. Layla?
No, that's weird.
Oh,
Alright.
I thought Layla voted yes.
Also, Mike's
yeah,
out.
Okay. 6, communing with departed saints.
Let's just skip that one.
Necromancy was condemned in the Old Testament, yet today, some leaders openly claim to receive counsel from dead saints. See 1 Samuel 28. I mean, is that the example? Is that the example? Because, like, yeah, Saul did it, but, like, that's not today at all.
Yeah.
That's, you know.
They're like current people. I mean,
There's
Saul.
probably just someone in the other room, and they're like, "Hello,
It's
I'm
a complete
Peter.
sham.
I am Peter."
It's weird. Like, I mean, if Jesus wanted you to retain the ability to hear the words from someone of the past, he would have made sure it made the scriptures. And so you got plenty to work with. Yeah, you can knock that off. Number 7, using the Hebrew calendar to guide the church. Okay, this is interesting. In recent years, prophetic voices have these guys are hanging out with weird people have increasingly drawn guidance from the church from the Jewish calendar, declaring divine mandates for each year based on its numerical or mystical significance. Doesn't that sound like the Chinese
Mystical?
New Year situation? While the Old Testament calendar has deep historical and redemptive meaning, to use it as a primary tool for church direction is to conflate covenants and lapse into a form of Christianized Kabbalah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, Ben. Everything this guy has said or brought up is like 100 IQ points better than I own.
Yeah.
I feel like he just keeps using a bunch of words, and I'm like, just get to the point. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe here's a different question: is to what extent is it valuable to incorporate into your current Christian life things that otherwise match the way God's people behaved before Jesus? So, like,
Should we still be doing the Feast of Booze?
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a value in it? Some of the celebrations, some of the modes.
I mean, maybe.
I'd bring
I don't
back the
know.
year of Jubilee.
That's insightful, Layla.
That seems
I,
cool.
don't- I feel like it's probably not, like, it probably won't harm you, but I don't know if it, like, really adds anything.
Yeah.
I mean, our
Like-
current Western culture will not tolerate the amount of festivals that the Hebrew calendar
Right.
has in it.
Yeah.
Right? If you're like, hey, I'm out for the next 10 days, I'm doing Feast of Booze. And then you're like, hey, Passover's coming, I'm going to be gone. hey, man, I got the
You
Feast
never
of
have a
Tabernacles.
job.
Yeah.
I can't be there for that either.
It's a new moon. Yeah. So I think one of the risks is, like, can it be valuable? Yes. Is it holy? No. Like, I'd be cautious about taking something. They're like, well, God commanded Israel to do it. Well, yes, he did. But again, those were slightly different situations. This is pre-Jesus. This is them as a demonstration, a way of living of which communicates that they are distinct from the world around them. And some of these feasts and celebrations and stuff did that kind of thing. And so it's not. You get this with a lot of Messianic Judaism, like Jews who otherwise, like, they believe Jesus is the Messiah, but otherwise keep to all the other things.
Yeah.
And they'll hold on to this. They're the guys who gets real fired up about Christmas and Easter and stuff.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
You know how in the Bible there always be like, hey, they killed the fattened calf, right?
Yeah.
What were they doing to this one? Right? Did they feed it a bunch of
Cornmeal.
lard? Like, do they have just one calf that they're dumping a bunch of bacon down or
Yeah,
something?
they probably just, like, it's like they need to have a fattened calf at all times in case Saul just shows up at your house and she's like, hey, I need to feed you.
Yeah.
Here's a fattened
I'll
calf.
tell you this. I
They just
know
need to keep one at all times.
feel
I'm
like that'd be
confident
weird.
they're not giving it bacon.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be wrong.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was
the
gonna say,
bacon's out.
That's pretty.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
But how do you think they're fattening them up? You know what I'm saying? And did they only just have the one? Are they like, hey, don't give that extra corn to all the cows. Give it to that fat one because we're going to eat them pretty soon.
They probably just
But what
keep,
do
like,
you-
a select few.
What do you think that you would have a lot of like tiny cows that you can't really use because you're fattening one up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the rest of them just like super skinny,
Yeah.
like Slim Fast, and then
No,
there's this one like
no, you
huge
just feed
Republican
this
cow?
certain one.
I feel like they would have multiple because like I mean, if you had a priest show up at your house and then Jesus was in town, and then like for some reason he came to your house, it's like I feel like you would have more than one.
Oh.
Like you would have a small fat herd, and maybe you would, and maybe you would have like a we don't really care about them herd.
You know what would be terrible if a guy came to visit and you're like, but Jesus is in town. I don't want to burn the fatted calf on this
So you
guy.
just give them the skinny one.
Yeah, you're not important.
Yeah.
Jesus is everything.
Yeah, go
okay?
away, Greg.
Go
We
away.
can't have you over tonight.
Well, I feel like it's a hospitality thing, isn't it? Like, you need to have it ready.
Can
in
you
case
buy a
somebody
fattened
important shows
calf
up.
from the market all
Probably
ready to go?
expensive.
Okay,
Probably.
so meat was not super. Like,
Cheap.
they sacrificed a lot of the bulls, and so like it's not like they did not eat meat how we eat meat. Like, you would not have had it of it like even once
It's
a week
like a
or something
delicacy.
like
Do you
that.
think they ate horse meat?
Why are
Oh,
you so
gosh.
stuck on horse meat?
I
Okay.
don't-
I don't know that they had horses.
I don't understand why some people won't eat horse meat.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I don't want to get on a tangent, but some people are real picky about eating horse meat, Leaf and Layla. For some reason, they refuse, even in a pinch. If horse meat was available, they're like, I would never.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just because
Well,
like
you could ride the horse to go find something else to eat.
exactly.
Another
What if you find a
horse.
better horse?
No, it's like I
So
just have like
use it.
PTSD when you're like on Minecraft, you know, and somebody's killing a horse, and it just sounds so horrible. So you're like, wow, I can never eat horse meat. It's like
Yeah.
it's just sad.
So
feel bad.
Minecraft is what's the root of this problem.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I
You
feel
could-
bad because I totally blow up. Like if I'm done with a Minecraft world, I just blow every animal up.
Wow.
This is so off
That
topic.
turned dark.
Yeah, we should probably get back on.
Okay, sorry.
Jesus.
Anyway, we think that there's definitely one fattened calf. Bryce says there's probably a herd of fatties, of which you get them
Like
already.
6.
And then if Greg comes over and there happens to be a Pharisee in town, you're like, sorry, Greg, you will not be eating with us tonight
Hey,
because we're
well,
not killing the
I don't
fatted
know.
calf.
What do you feed them though? Because like back then there weren't like a lot of like sources to like fatten them up.
I
you
think
know?
it's olive
Cornmeal.
oil. I
Like
thi-
you still have to have food to feed your family.
yeah, that's why I think it's oil. Olive oil would have been like readily available.
What? Like,
I think
feed
it's
them
just
olive oil
like
instead of
straight
water?
liquid like fat.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of olive oil.
Like a bottle of olive oil,
Or
like
just
a baby bottle.
Put it on it. Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I think.
Okay.
We
Okay.
bottle feed our calves olive oil. That's perfectly normal.
Yeah, give it. Okay. If you're on the, say, listen. If you're listening here on a Life from the Path, and you got yourself a cow, or I wouldn't give it. You can do it on a sheep or whatever, but like just give it a shot for like 2 weeks, straight olive oil, and
find the ugliest
tell me how it happened.
Yeah, on top of their normal hay eating.
Yeah.
Just go out there with a bottle. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I got a sheep right now I got in mind that I'll fatten them
It's
up.
going to be $1,500 worth of olive oil.
No,
It doesn't. It's a lot cheaper there, Mike.
that's probably true.
You got to do non-saturated corn solids or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, listen, we're not going to read the rest of the article. It's stupid. You know, sometimes you don't pick a winner. I didn't pick a winner. Sorry about that. You're listening to Live from the Path. Hey, if you got feedback for us on the show, maybe on that fat and calf thing, or maybe you got some other opinions that you want to share that no one else listened to. One, be kind to a brother, but use the Live from the Path complaint line, 515-517-0085. Call or text 515-517-0085. We love to hear from you here at Live from the Path.
Mhm.
Okay. There was another article about what you're getting wrong about the rapture. We're also not going to do that one. Just at the high level, not everyone believes that, and it's probably not in the Bible in the way that you think it is. Go forth and be merry. You can talk about that with your closest friends over a bottle.
Layla, what do you know about that rapture?
Not much.
Fellas, where you at?
I have no clue what rapture means. So.
You've not heard the word
I
rapture?
still don't know if you
I've
said
probably heard
rapture
it.
or raptor. I know what a raptor is.
I think context clues puts it at rapture.
I
but
don't
I'm
know.
with you.
There's a leviathan. That could be.
Okay, let's
That could
start
be a
over.
raptor.
See,
I
I've
mean-
heard
Bryce,
that.
what do you think about a raptor?
The chickens.
There,
What?
That is not true. That's a T-Rex, and also that's not true. But I don't know.
confused.
Raptors are cool.
Okay,
They're
now that we got
Jurassic
that out
World.
of the way, Bryce, what do you know about the rapture?
Not
Nothing.
Not a lot.
It's not a prominent
I feel like
thought in your
I've
head.
totally
Good.
heard it, and I know it has. Does it have something to do with destruction? No.
Like
Wait.
in general, you haven't heard like
No, I totally have. I just like.
I've heard it, but I don't know what it means.
like the thought that Jesus shows up and then takes takes all the Christians out. People will
Ooh.
have bumper stickers that
Okay.
say in case of rapture, this car will be unoccupied
Oh.
because the people of Jesus
Whoa.
will just gone.
No, okay. I knew it had something to do with Jesus coming back, but I didn't know they
Okay.
took all the Christians away. I don't
That's
know.
good. That means we're not over-indexing on it. I think
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, you guys stay right where you're at. You're doing
Yeah,
a good
you
job.
just go ahead and leave
okay.
that be.
That's good.
You ain't gonna be able, whatever it is, whatever the reality is, you ain't gonna be able to do anything about it. So, sit back and relax.
Yeah.
Enjoy the program. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I was in Atlanta for work. Was that this past week? Holy cats, the days are going. Anyway, I got to the airport like 8 hours early. Okay, and I start walking around because I feel I'm on the company dime. So I say, how long do I have to space out between eating? Can I buy another meal on this company credit card? Because it feels they like they're gonna prove it, but they look at it because they get to see your habits. They're like, oh, Ben often eats at the Taco John's, and it comes up, and I'm like, I don't like you peeping, but they're gonna look at it. So anyway, I'm trying to be discerning, trying to play the game so I can get this other thing. And so anyway, I end up at this. There's this thing called like somebody's Southern Home Kitchen or something like that. And so I go in there, and like when it's the company money, I tend to try things I wouldn't otherwise try. Like I'd been to this, I think of this place before, and I ordered some sort of like cold grit situation. Okay. And so anyway, I'm perusing the menu, right? And so this stuff it's outrageous. It's airport food. It's like a sit-down restaurant. It's like $40 to get anything. Okay, it's not my money. I don't care. And so I'm trying. I couldn't figure out what to do. And then I get this like nudge from like an elbow, like someone's next to me, nudge, and he's like, "Hey, what are you gonna get?" I'm like, "I don't know." And this is weird because like I don't look inviting when I'm in an airport. I look like a guy who doesn't want to talk to you. And so he nudged me. He says, "What are you gonna get?" I said, I don't know." He goes, "Get the grits and you'll be blessed."
What?
Has anybody done that? You know, like try to insert themselves into your life and propose that there's some sort of blessing associated with it?
No.
It's not happening to
That's
anybody.
never happened.
He says, "Get the
me.
grits and you'll be blessed." I said, "Thank you." But then whatever he was trying to do, I didn't want to talk about it. I thought, okay. But then he kind of waited to see if I was going to order the grits, and it felt real awkward or whatever. I did not order the grits. I got some kind of shrimp dish or whatever. So anyway, long story short, I ate all this stuff. This guy eats at some other separate table, and I start to leave, and he ends up following me back. And it's funny because he's just walking like close enough to me that it's weirded me out. And he ends up sitting down at my gate to take the flight to Des Moines, which is like 3 hours from then. Like I was still way early. And so finally I said, "Hey man, you going to Des Moines?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh," like, and he provided no additional information. And so I said, I'm trying to ask him more questions. And I said, "Really, like what brings you to Des Moines?" Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "The Pope's going to be there." And I'm like, "What?
What
The
Pope?
Pope? Like the new Pope is coming to
Oh.
Des Moines?" I said, "That's wild." And then, but here's the thing: it was like halfway believable to me because like he's from Chicago, and I said, "I don't know, maybe he's going to Chicago, and then for someone that he's hitting up to the Des Moines." And so I said, "Well, where's he going to be?" You know, and I said, "Well, I think he's gonna." He goes, "He's going to be in." He gave a zip code. What's your zip code, Mike?
50225.
I think he gave it like a 6, but it was like real close to that or whatever. And anyway, he starts describing the place. That it's like he said it's outside of Pleasantville. I'm like, that's crazy. I know my brother lives in Pleasantville. And he starts describing this house or whatever. And I'll be doggone it if he doesn't think that the Pope is going to Mike's house. That was his impression, is that the Pope was going to visit Mike's house. And so anyway, I get home before this. He didn't end up getting on the plane. I'm not sure what happened. And so I called Mike and I said, "Dude, this guy thinks the Pope is going to be at your place." And
Wait, like what he was describing was Mike's house?
Yeah, totally Mike's house. And so anyway, all these people end up showing up at Mike's house like the next day because this guy's like told other people that the Pope was going to be there. And if a bunch of people show up to your house and think that you're the Pope, you got to do something. You got to give them some sort of advice so that they can like know what to do, like so that they leave. You got to walk out on the balcony and then give them some Pope style advice. What did you tell them, Mike?
Oh my gosh, that was a setup. I
I was
was
like,
so.
I wanted to go like, is this
Okay.
fictional?
I know, yeah.
I was like, there's no freaking way I didn't know that. Like, what the heck?
Oh my gosh.
That was
I
that,
watched all three of them, and
I
they're
was
enamored.
not-
They're like,
okay.
"What?"
that was awesome.
Mike's like
Amazing.
staring at me the whole time.
That
Like,
was
why is he
awesome.
looking at me like that?
I tried even to crack in a smile to let you know it's a setup, and Lenon's just eyes are moving in wonderment. They're like,
what?
I was so
Wow.
confused. I was like,
And I was like,
How do I not
how do you
know?
guys get in the weird? Like, I swear, the food stories
It's
are
a
the
crazy
weirdest
I know.
reactions.
Like the fact that I actually believed you shows how weird some stories you guys tell are.
Yeah.
yeah.
"All right."
I do have a shirt that says "Eat the grits and be blessed." It's on the way.
You do actually.
I don't think I've
No.
ever.
I made up that story right now. I didn't even know what
Really?
the story was going to be when
You
I
didn't
started.
even plan that.
I thought I was
that's impressive.
I was in Atlanta
That was
recently,
impressive.
and then like I thought, well, I hope it goes from there.
No,
I
that
tell you
actually
what,
sounds
you
really
guys, the
accurate.
fourth wall is gone completely when you're in this studio.
Anyway, Mike, the people are at your house looking for Pope style advice. What did you tell them?
Okay, so I'd say good afternoon, everybody. Listen, we need to stay connected to God. We need to stay connected on the things that we're doing and the actions that we're taking, because some of the things that we've done in the past don't work every time. And just because something worked in the past doesn't mean you need to continue doing it. And I was reminded of this today because I was talking to somebody about Moses smacking the rock with his staff. You guys remember that story?
Yeah.
Where the first time God said, "Hey, the people need some water. You're going to get them some water. Go ahead and tap that rock with the staff, and then water's going to come out." And everybody was like, "Wow, this is amazing." And then God says, ask them to do it again. Moses says, "Hey, the people are complaining again, and they want more water." And God says, "Walk up to that water and walk up to that rock and speak to the rock, and water will come out." Anybody remember what Moses did? He tapped that
Yeah.
rock with that
Said to
staff
me.
Yeah,
again.
he whooped
Yeah.
Yeah, God said,
He
go
whooped
up to that rock and speak to it, and water will come out. And that's not what Moses did. Moses walked up confidently because he'd done this before, and he knew what God was going to say. And he didn't actually need God in the middle of this. He knew if he smacked that rock with the staff, the water would come out. Now, God was gracious to Moses in a way because he went up and did it, and water came out. But there was a big consequence to Moses. Like, he walked away from that water, and God says, you did not honor me, and you did not treat me as holy, and you will not be going into the promised land because of that.
Yeah.
And you read that, and you think, what a small, inconsequential detail,
Yeah.
right? Like, he went up and hit the rock, and the water came out. The same exact situation comes up, and he goes, I've been here before. I'll hit it with the staff, and the water will come out. But just before that, God says, I want you to walk up to that rock, and I want you to speak to the rock. Rock, point out the water, and then the water will come out. And Moses, like, we would call it Moses disobeyed, right? But the thing is, like, in Moses, I'm not Moses. I don't know what happens in his mind, but I know that, like, when I read through that, I think, come on, man. Like, what a small
Right.
miss. And like the punishment, it's not a punishment. We'll call it a consequence of what Moses did is he's no longer allowed to go into the promised land with the rest of the people, right? And so I was thinking about that today, and I thought, this is why it is so important in the things that God has us doing, the people that he has us talking to about who he is and what he's doing, and the work that he has you doing. Even if you don't feel like you have an official title or an official responsibility, right, at the moment, I can tell you right now you do. You already have that responsibility because you know a thing, and it's good and true, and it's changed your life in a way, and it's brought you up in a family of changed lives, right? So you already have a responsibility there, okay? But, like, it really does matter that you are staying connected with God in prayer and reading his word, because he will change his mind. Like, from what, like, if, because you guys know that we do a youth group in at the library every Wednesday, right? And I have kind of a formulaic way of which I go about it. We kind of do the same thing every week. And then I thought the first thing I thought of after I was talking about that with someone today, I'm like, I don't ask God every week what we should be doing. I pray that he shows up, but I don't ask him whether I should be changing something. I just assume we've always done it. Let's keep doing it. We always do, right? We always walk into church on Sundays, and we always do worship first, and then we do what? Offering, or then we do the message, and then we go out, and then we all stand inside the outside of the place and talk for a while. And, like, I'm not saying that any of those things is wrong. I'm just saying, did we ask him? Right? Did we ask him maybe we should quit? Maybe I should stop doing youth group. I didn't ask him that. Maybe I should start doing it out on the lawn, or maybe we should do it in Knoxville, or maybe we should do it on Tuesdays. I don't know. I haven't asked him, right? I just kind of picked a thing and then keep doing it. And I thought, like, I don't think God is mad about that. I don't think, like, he's like, I can't believe you didn't ask me. But I don't know that my heart is open to him changing his mind and him changing the way that I think that I am serving him or I am talking to other people about him. Maybe I should stop inviting people for coffee. Maybe I should start inviting people for fishing. Maybe I should start inviting people for volleyball. I have no idea. Maybe I should join a running club so I can tell people about Jesus. That sounds terrible and not in my personality at all. But I didn't ask him, right? And he would know way more than I would know on where, like, my time, talent, effort, money, and abilities are best served to him. So my Pope-style advice is stay connected. Like, don't just read the thing that your pastor told you to read. Don't just pray because your parents made you. Don't just do it because you think you should. Do it because God is going to interchange information to you that really does change your life and probably the people around you. So stay connected to what God is doing.
How do you think about then? It feels like you could get stagnant simply because there's so many things that God could tell you to do.
Yeah.
Like, how did I didn't pray before I just responded.
Correct.
I'm not going to pray, like, I don't generally pray, like, what route am I going to drive home? I'm going to take the straightest route, generally speaking. And so how do you think about kind of, is there a distinction between stay connected? Because, like, if you're connected, I could be connected with my wife where, like, I might be going about my everyday business, but I am listening. Like, she might say something, and so I have my ears out, but I'm not necessarily standing in the living room. Like, if she doesn't tell me to do a thing, I'm not going to do a thing. How do you think about that? Because there was a lot of things where, like, it's an everyday thing that, like, do you risk doing the wrong thing because you didn't ask specifically
Yeah, yeah,
versus did you hear him speaking?
Yeah, so you're right. So like I don't want to overclock and say that like cuz then it sounds like God works on a technicality, right? So like if you didn't ask him, he's not going to answer it. And that's not what I think God's posture is towards us, right? But like we talk about David a lot in here after being a man after God's own heart, right? And it's not because his decisions are all solid 100% of the time. That guy did some way messed up stuff, right? But his heart posture is always to God. Like even if you take like the wife example, right? Like I am always open to my wife interrupting my day and changing what I had going, right? If she's like, I know you wanted to do this, but we really need to get the trees solid because they all fell over in the wind. You need to put some stakes in the ground and get them tied up. And I'd be like, all right, yeah, that's fine, right? I am open to my wife interrupting my day and changing my plans for whatever. Now that seems harder to do with God, right? But to a certain extent, it's not. Like you basically get in a way where you start looking for him to interrupt your day and looking for him to interact in your life, and you won't hear it unless you actually want to hear his voice. He's not fooled by like the Bible plan that your youth group set up for you, right? Like what he's looking for is a heart posture towards him that says, God, I'm open. And you'll know that because you spend time in his word and you spend time praying to him and just sitting and being with him, right? Like spending quality time makes it so you recognize his voice. That's what that looks like, right? And you can recognize his voice when it comes from other people, right? I've had people speak into my life and they're saying, God told me this, right? Or God says we should act this way. And I'm like, he did not say that. I know he didn't say that because his Bible does not agree with what you're saying.
Right.
So, and God doesn't change, right? So like, I know you're lying to me. I would not know that if I hadn't spent time with him. And so like all that being said, like if your relationship with God feels like it's flat or like it comes from the people around you or your community and you're like, they all claim that God does all these great things and I don't know anything about this. I believe this because I was taught to believe it, but I don't feel this myself. I don't see God interacting in my life. I don't see him ever speaking to me or trying to move a thing or have me involved in anything. I'm telling you that like you have to stay connected to him, right? Just like the Bible will do this as a biblical picture for like being rooted or right getting nutrients from the soil, right? Like you can't get nutrients from the soil if you're not in the soil.
Right.
And so like you can get nutrients from other people that sprinkle it on you, but you're not growing on your own. You're growing because other people are pouring into you. But if you want to like know the things that God is going to do and not just presume on all the things that everybody's told you, you have to be in relationship with him.
Yeah.
Now you can politely get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. The guy was mistaken bringing all these people here.
Imagine saying all that. Imagine saying all that and being like, all right, you can leave my house now. The Pope's not coming.
Yeah,
Time for you guys to go. It's $5 for parking.
yeah. That's how you clear them out. That's how
Yeah.
you clear them Catholics out of there.
And then I could sell $2 horse meat on your way out.
Ew. And then Leaf's at his house crying.
Why?
My horse.
Why is
not
the Pope selling
horses.
horse meat at Mike Foo's house?
The fake Pope.
I would love to see Mike dressed like the Pope.
Yeah, me too.
I would find that very uncomfortable. I dress for comfort.
I think the Pope dresses for comfort. That's
Yeah, he's from
No,
Chicago.
Those
the
robes-
Pope dresses for show.
those robes are leisure wear.
Are they though?
How many layers do you think he got on?
Oh, like
Lots.
a lot.
One.
Yeah.
He always,
Whoa! It's like a moo
One.
so like if he gets water poured on him, it's just
Yeah.
game over.
Yeah.
A
You're
stiff,
dead.
a
I
stiff
feel like-
breeze is a modesty problem.
It's a papal moo A pamoo.
All right,
Ew.
you're listening to Live from the Path. Thanks for hanging out with us so far today, Mike. I think he got that advice from soup to nuts. I think he covered it all, and so
Oh my gosh.
What?
I think that was great.
Have you ever heard that phrase, soup to nuts?
No,
Like, once.
it sounds terrible.
But
Yeah, it
I don't
does.
know what it means.
Okay, I asked around today, and the consensus is that no one says this.
No, yeah, I've never heard
I'm
that.
not
Wait, what does
surprised.
it mean?
Here's the thing. I'm aware that every once in a while I will say a phrase that either is just made up or that like is obscure. I'm not sure where they come from. They're just in there. I don't think to myself, what's an obscure phrase? Like just the stuff that comes out. However, I will tell you, I had a strong belief that like from soup to nuts was a common phrase.
Wait, what
You
does it
were
mean?
wrong.
I was so it means like all the things. It's kind of like saying from A to Z. Except for it's a reference to like I don't know, a formal dinner. You start with soup, and by the end of the meal, you've gone through all the courses, and you end up in the nuts.
What?
I apparently I
Okay.
think it's a generation problem. You can't say
I-
nuts; it causes the things in your mind.
Yeah,
gosh.
it's yeah. I feel like if you said that at like a fancy restaurant, they'd be like, "Can you please leave?"
So you get out of here.
What phrase would you use?
To say all the things.
All the
Everything.
things.
Like if someone would say like we got it from head to toe.
I would
Like
just
we-
say all the things.
Yeah, we covered all
Yeah.
the things.
We got everything.
Well, it's
We
not a
covered
mirrorism
everything.
if you just say all the things.
Yeah, Leaf is under the impression you don't need your fancy words in here. We're just gonna say all the things.
I do know.
I mean, straight to the point.
My friend's dad, I always found this funny. He would say from seeds to sun, as in I don't know. It's like that was his A to Z. It was weird.
Seeds to sun.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
don't.
plant cycle.
I didn't really understand what it meant till like I kind of understand that it's like the sun, the seeds need sun, but that was always weird to me.
Hmm.
I always said sun to seeds
Yeah.
or seeds
Yeah.
to sun.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Okay. Hey,
I'll
if you-
try it out tomorrow.
I
If
guess
you-
if I had to choose, I'd say A to Z. Probably.
Stem to
Well-
stern.
Well, yeah, we'll just
No.
we'll just make one up. Like think of something which has a start and an end. What-
A movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. From
From the intro to the end credits.
from action to cut.
Yeah.
You could do from action to cut. That would be that
Yeah,
would
but
work.
I feel like when you say that, it kind of like holds people up for a second. They're like, "Wait, what? Like, what does that mean?"
Yeah.
Like, I just
And then you really have to explain it.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it just like
Awkward.
ruins the effect of
from
what you just said.
from bean to gas.
Whoa.
That-
Ew. Okay, that's too far.
That's a good like if you're working in pre-K, which I do a lot at our church. That's a good thing.
Yeah, you got to
They
get to
would-
the
they would
pre-K.
giggle.
Oh, kids love wind. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Kids love wind.
Okay, Mike, let's get some advice.
Play in the wind.
All right, here we go. Dear Live from the Path, the grocery store a mile from our house has recently gone through a major expansion and upgrade. I have shopped there my entire life. The store has 2 points of ingress and egress. That's entrance and exits. I have always entered through the door most convenient for me. If
Okay.
what I need is on the east side of the store, I enter and exit via the closest east side door. Since the expansion and upgrade, they now allow shoppers to enter only through one door and exit through the other. They will soon install gates to prevent shoppers from using the quotes wrong door. I have an injury and I will be having surgery soon. Walking through the entire store to pick up a couple of items located near the exit only door can be very difficult. I am sure elderly patrons feel the same way. I know the store is counting on spontaneous purchases by doing this, but it's extremely non-customer friendly. The quality of the customer service can make or break a business. Without customers, a business will fail. Please send a message to grocery stores to change their minds.
Okay, this
When
guy
you
is.
said when you said
No.
like question, I thought it was like, hey, I'm having kind of problems. Like, can you like tell me what like how to fix it or something? Like, I'd like prayer or something like that. I would not expect how should I get to the other side of the
Okay.
grocery store.
Right.
The whole entire
That's the
problem with the
last
story.
thing I
This
expect.
guy's straight up lazy. Like this
He's
is.
got an
He's got
injury,
an
Layla.
injury.
No,
Who
I
the
have an
heck
idea.
cares? Use a
Okay.
wheelchair or get over it.
Use
He's
one of those
lazy.
Vroom carts that the old
Yeah.
people use.
Yeah.
Yes.
My grandma had one of those at our
No.
old store, and when I was little, I used to ride around everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's
They had
so easy.
furniture
Okay,
everywhere.
you guys are not
Like
addressing
also,
their
if
problem
you
at all.
haven't,
Yeah,
if you
and-
You're
haven't,
offering alternative
No.
solutions.
if you have an injury, I mean, you're gonna have to like stretch it somehow. I don't know. Like you gotta,
What
you
kind of
can't
injury
just
is
sit
it?
around. Yeah.
That was,
Is
that
it
was
like
not
his leg?
described. You
Because
have
if
all
he
the
has a
facts I
broken
have.
arm, he's complaining about walking through the store. That's just
Well,
Okay,
hold,
you're-
just like be so here's the being your kindest you can about the injury.
Oh, man.
Okay, let's presume it's something that makes it difficult to walk. Okay, it's
Okay.
hard to get around.
Broke
Maybe
your
they're on
ankle.
crutches or something like
Let's
that.
say he's missing a leg.
Fine, he's missing a leg.
Vroom
Okay.
cart.
Okay, is it a dude?
Oh, no.
Okay,
Sounds like a dude.
let's say it's a dude. So the dude's missing a leg. Okay, but he can make it into. He made it to the store. He either drove there or walked there.
They won't let him drive in the grocery store, Ben.
No, I understand.
Okay.
But like, so it's not like he's not capable of moving at all. He's not saying he can't even get in the store. He goes in one of the things. He picks up a few items, and so we're just it'd be different if like, hey, I can't do this at all. I need them to deliver the food or something to me. But if we're talking about he can get there, he can get to the different aisles. He just has to go a few extra aisles over or something like that. Or yeah, he can use the produce vroom vroom cart and put the stuff in
Right.
there. Like I just he said what did he say? The grocery stores rely on customers. You're one. They don't care.
And
Like everyone
also,
else
like-
is shopping just fine, and
so
your anger is not going to make a difference.
if you have that bad of an injury, you should probably if you can't get like a handicap spot, it's probably not that terrible of an injury.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Two, if you're missing a leg, you have alternatives to fix that, like
Exactly.
crutches, a wooden leg. I understand.
Yeah.
It's
You
probably-
guys are an unsympathetic
No.
crowd.
Well, I understand it's probably impossible to
Did
push
you
a cart.
think about a leg, sir?
Yeah.
To
Okay,
push a
mister,
cart
missing
and
a leg. Hop
like-
around and get that turkey.
But also, I think every store, no matter how big or small, like if you're like, I don't know, like Dollar General size, you don't need those things. But like, I feel like every like Walmart or grocery store should have those like vehicles.
The carts, anyway. Well, so here's the thing: here's the rich. Just not that you have to sympathize with the grocer, but like once they started the accommodating for you, like then they have to. You got to figure out how do you sort out all the various accommodations that other people are asking for. And to be honest with you, I've been in a number of stores where the Vroom Vroom carts seem to be occupied by people who are fully capable of walking around the store.
Yeah.
They just appear not to want
Oh
to.
no,
And
no,
with
you.
all the like technology that we have, you can just
Right.
order it and have it
Yeah.
delivered to your house. If you have like something like absolutely like
Yeah.
major.
Uber groceries, man.
No,
Yeah.
but Dad, what you just
Random
said, where
person,
like you feel
Walmart
like some people
Plus.
don't actually need it.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing the other day. We were at Costco. There's a lady in the cart, and I like whispered to Mom. I was like, "Why? She looks perfectly fine. Why is she using that?" And then Mom's like, "Layla, shut up." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry." And then this lady heard me apparently, and she's like, "It's perfectly fine that you said something, but I actually had back surgery a while ago." And I was like, "Wow, I feel horrible."
Yes.
Like, and I felt like such a jerk, and I was like, "Shoot."
Yeah, that was jerky.
And she was actually, she was so nice, and I felt so bad. But then also, this guy, it was a bonus to have a door where you want to get your stuff, right? But like, if there's only one door,
yeah.
like you're serious, it's
I
You're
like
lazy.
Layla's point here. You're right. The situation you had was a bonus, and
Right.
it was pretty sweet. And now it's come to an end.
right.
And
like,
so,
get
like,
over
you're
it.
gonna have to figure something else out.
Exactly.
The
And it's
pastries
not
are
like
gone.
you're going
Like-
to the grocery store like every day.
Exactly,
It's
it's
like maybe
like
a
once a
month
week.
thing.
Some people do
Once
that
a
though.
month.
People that don't live out in the country like y'all, like they stop for food on the way home and they just buy what they're gonna cook for dinner that
Well,
night.
also,
That's
can you
true.
just choose a different grocery store? If he has something against this one because they don't have.
Yeah,
He
'cause
shopped there his whole life, Layla.
Well, yeah. and Now they took away his bonus door, and now he's mad about it. Go somewhere else.
Okay, I'll tell you this. The Walmart used to make, this is apples to apples comparison. You're going to love it. Walmart made these chocolate peanut butter no-bake cookies.
Oh yeah.
They were delicious. I used to, before I was married and my wife said I couldn't do it no more, I probably ate 60 of those in a week.
Okay, that's horrible.
They were delicious.
They were so good.
Okay, now what's happened is the Walmart has slowly like inched the price up of these things, and the cookies have gotten smaller and smaller. They used to be the size of like one of Mike's eyeglasses over there,
Yeah.
and now they're the size of like a quarter. They're super tiny.
No, they're not.
They're pretty small.
a
Yeah.
quarter.
Listen, I'm not exaggerating. It's a world problem. So anyway,
Inflation.
I tell you this, I'm disappointed in that. I wish the Walmart would make the same ones. But like, I mean, it's their store. They get to go, look, this is what we sell for this price. Do you want to buy these or what?
Yeah.
And like, I got the choice. I can say, and I can tell them, hey, this has become more inconvenient, and they're gonna go, look, man, we're closing that door because people they're like there's theft over there. And so the question is that like, so that it's easier on you, do I lose $2,000 a month on theft coming out the door?
Right.
Or do I or I pay a guy $2,000 a month to watch the door so that he can say you're allowed in, but not you. And then what are you gonna do when the guy he says he can't come in because like you look able-bodied? You're gonna end up in a Layla situation where you just like harassed a dude who just got his back all zapped out.
Yeah.
And so like it's a real mess. And so bring a friend. Maybe even like find the assistant manager and go, look, man, I just have a hard time getting to this back stuff. When I come in, do you think one of your folks could go grab this for me? I bet they do
See,
it, no
that's
problem.
perfectly reasonable.
I bet they do it,
Especially
no
if it's
problem.
like a huge store like Costco, you know, where you actually get your miles in walking around that store. Like, totally ask somebody to help you. They totally would.
I bet that. I bet they would do it. Just don't make it like an
Sorry.
I want to
institution
get my
problem.
food and get
Also,
my miles
I want to
in.
say that
Yeah.
90% of stores have the online ordering. You literally pull up.
Exactly.
Did you make up that number?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
You
mean,
just said it so confidently as if you researched this, and I think you completely
No.
made it up.
Yes, I did.
No,
Anyway,
I think that's accurate, though.
Yeah, my parents say I'm too confident, but
I said the same
You're
thing.
you're half a liar, Bryce. It's not a true fact.
well, I mean, about
That's
sorry,
not
about,
confidence. It's a bold-faced lie.
About it's my opinion. About 90%.
it's bald. Mike, it's
Is
bald.
that better?
Fair enough.
It's bald faced.
What?
It's not bold faced.
It's bold-faced lie.
No, it's
Yeah.
bald.
It is
Bald.
definitely not bald.
I think
bald.
it's
It
bald
is.
face lie.
It's
yeah.
bald face lie.
I don't think any of you guys know that.
It's
I'll
not
Google it later.
No, you don't
Continue
say
on,
that.
Bryce.
That's a
Defend your
fact,
lies.
Jack.
Oh.
I heard it from Bryce.
Yeah, so it's like so many stores are like that, and there's like, I know Pleasantville only has like a Dollar General, but like, there's a lot of other stores like in other towns, unless you're like, just in the middle of nowhere, like Wyoming. Just in the middle of nowhere, there's no towns anywhere like
Oddly
within 10
specific.
miles. Well,
Take that, Wyoming. You husk of a nation.
I think Wyoming's
Nevada's the same
amazing.
way.
I think Wyoming's amazing.
Like if you're in
actually.
the Southern County in British Ontario, they don't know anything about this.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. Here's the thing: at the end of the day, capitalism will sort this out. You guys remember when Walmart went on a big push to do self-serve checkouts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To try to prevent theft.
I
They're
love
starting
those.
to yank them out because
No,
most
they're
people
not.
don't like them.
I freaking love those things.
And a lot of
They're
people
the
like them.
best.
You're overly invested in them, Layla.
No,
You got to get your miles in.
no, the cashiers
But
are slow.
here's at the end of the day, like supply and demand will straighten this stuff out. If everybody hates this new entrance, they'll put it back, right? And so right now, it seems like everybody else is fine with it, but you might just have to suck it up.
Yeah, I think if you,
Exactly.
I think it's actually kind of a good recommendation. It's like sometimes we solve problems institutionally that you could just as easily solve personally. Don't ask that they move their entrance and exit. Just you're gonna have to ask if you need help. You're gonna have to ask for it.
Yeah. Okay. So the question was, please send a message to the grocery stores to change their methods.
Absolutely not.
Secular says, I will try, but I'm pessimistic that the message will be heeded. I know many shoppers experience the same aggravation that you are feeling. The supermarket in my city has branches in different neighborhoods. At my branch, the management got the bright idea that completely rearranging the store would generate more sales, forcing customers to weave through aisles looking for items that were once easy to find. I don't know how it has worked out for them because I now shop at a different store.
Oh my gosh.
If you have that option, take it.
Okay, this whole thing is so dramatic. It makes me just.
This sounds like
Yeah.
small town
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
it
sounds like
does.
small town like Pleasantville drama.
Exactly.
I will tell you, like, sometimes you just got to give some stuff some time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to say, hey, we think this will be better. They don't know whether it's going to be better. They're going to give it 2 months. And then once everyone complains about it or their sales aren't up, they'll put it back. Or you just don't like things to change and you're mad. And it actually was better for other people who aren't you, you selfish duck.
I just feel like this guy's like mildly inconvenienced, and then he's like, "Wow, my life sucks."
Well, and you'll
Yeah.
get used to it eventually. It's not like it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's not
Right.
The worst thing
This
that could
sounds
ever happen
very
to you.
negative. I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he had that negative thought instantly because he had something taken away from him.
I think, to be fair, I feel this
probably a
way
lonely
every
bachelor.
time I go into Menards that is not set up like my home Menards.
Yeah.
Okay, I know how that feels, but then also it's not that much of an inconvenience.
I mean,
like,
I'm
just
not like,
figure it
this
out.
is your fault, but I'm like, why would they do this to me? I know where all of the electrical wire is at my home Menards.
Right.
I mean, I think that's why they have all the signs that say electrical and like flush.
Yes.
All right,
dog.
Yeah.
All right.
I think you just need to pay a little bit more attention.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
guys-
Leve's coming off strong.
You
Like, I
guys
think
are
you
the
need to
most
pay a little bit
unsympathetic
more
group of people.
attention.
Yeah, do you even know how to read, dummy?
I was about to say that.
Hey, I'll tell you this though, like sometimes I feel like these recent generations get a lot of bad rap, but like these folks in this room are saying, look, we don't put up with your business. You learn how to navigate the world.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hey, can you help me find the plumbing? Why don't you learn to read, punk?
Yeah,
Put
I
those
turn the
glasses
world
to
over to these
use.
fellas, no problem.
Yeah, you think we make signs for our own health? Put your spectacles on.
Those poor people that had to hang those signs up. Those signs are so high up. I don't even
Yeah.
understand how
Yeah.
to do that.
That's a secondary I didn't think about, how high them signs are.
He put himself in peril just so you know where the electrical
tell you-
wire is.
I tell you this, Calkins, you're a wild card. Some of the things
I
that
mean,
cross
okay.
your mind.
It would be awkward to see someone in the middle aisle like looking up at the signs like that. That would be weird trying to find the electrical.
It's weird watching you do it.
Yeah, I know. It would be weird, but like
Yeah, I was confused. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Okay, here we go. Next one. Dear liar from the path, I need help.
Oh, God.
I'm a 50-plus-year-old, married, well-educated woman. I'm also a kleptomaniac, and I'm not
Oh.
proud of it. You guys know what that means?
No.
no.
I'm-
Who can't help but steal.
Yeah, she's a thief.
Yeah.
A kleptomaniac feels like they got to steal stuff all the time.
Oh.
So it's a prideful stealer.
I need help. I'm a 50-plus-year-old, married, well-educated woman. I'm also a kleptomaniac, and I'm not proud of it. It started a few years back, when I accidentally left an item in my shopping cart. Since then, I have found it easy to take things.
Oh,
Shoes, makeup, jewelry, clothing.
What?
I am out of control. I know it's wrong. I tell myself, that's it. I will not steal. Then I go and I do it again. I want to stop this madness within myself, but I can't tell anyone. Please help me.
Whoa.
This is just
You
bad
just told the
self-control.
world. I
Yeah.
just want to know this.
They wrote in anonymously.
First off, find a new hobby.
Yeah.
What if you can't though?
I mean, okay, listen. I've accidentally done this. I've totally like put something in my pocket at the store, walked out, and then I was like, shoot. And then I just went back and gave it to them, and they had nothing against me. So like, you should have just corrected it at the beginning. You wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Shouldn't have taken it.
Here's the thing. The thing that you're avoiding doing is the thing that you have to do, which
Yeah.
is you have to tell them. Like you have to go in. This is true of anything, right? This is true of anything that God says is no good that you're doing, and you think this will go away on its own. It will not. You have to turn yourself in, right? And so like you have to go back to the store.
Face the
And you have to say,
consequences.
"Hi, my name is this. I've been stealing from you. I can estimate it. I think it's probably around X amount of dollars. I would like to pay you back restitution, but what you do going forward is up to you. If you feel like you need to call the police, then I will stay here and wait till they show up. But I want to basically own up to all the things that I've done and have this put behind me. Until you do that, it will continue."
Right.
That is just flat true. That is true with all of the sin in our life. That is true with stealing crap. That is true with the person that you lied to. That is true with the thing that you're sneaking around doing that you think nobody knows that you're doing. You're going to have to tell somebody if you want it to stop. And that's the only way it gets done. And that's just flat true. And so she's like, I can't stop, but I can't tell anyone. If you want to stop, you will tell somebody. That's how it stops.
Right.
And it really sucks. It's a very humbling, horrible experience, but that is the only way it ends.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever had to turn yourself in because you done something? You don't have to give me a
To
specific
like my
example.
parents, yes. Wait,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
I stole $2 from my grandma, and my mom made me return it, and I felt like I was going to prison. Like I thought I was going to be locked up for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Grandmas are
How
scary.
could you?
How
Okay.
could you? Leaf is
I
disgusting.
did
It's your
see-
grandmama.
I did see a video of The Rock, how he was talking about how he stole a Snickers bar from a 7-Eleven every single day for energy when he was in high school. And one day he literally just went back to that 7-Eleven and paid them. He bought a Snickers bar, put down $500 on the table. He said, "You keep this," and he walked out.
Mm.
It's like, I mean,
That's a way to be.
yeah, like I feel like it's cool how he did that, but I understand that's like tipping $5 for him. Like he gets so much money, but like I understand but I think that was cool how he just
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's absolutely. It's not it doesn't stop without you turning yourself in and then accepting your punishment.
Right.
Like you can't soft sell it. You can't undersell it. You can't pull the consequences out. You can't say, "Here, I'm just going to give you 1,000. Let's forget about this." You have to say, "Here's what I would like to do, but you decide what's going to happen to me. I'm willing to sit for it." It's a justice thing, and your heart will not change until you do it. And so,
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, like that's not the advice you're going to want to hear, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah. I agree.
It really
Yeah.
sucks. Did I tell you I stole a conduit bender from my old work one time? Like I borrowed like for bending
what is
electrical
that?
pipe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was for bending electrical pipe. And then I quit working there. I went to and took another job, and I sat down in my shed for a while. And then I passed it like every couple of weeks. I'm like, man, I stole that. Like I intended to give it back. I just never did. And so then like it took like a year, and finally like God was coming after me about it. He's like, "Mike, you stole this." And I'm like, I did. So then I went and looked at it, and now it's rusty and really screwed up.
Oh.
And I'm like, dang it. So I went and bought him a new one. And then I went back to my old employer who I hadn't seen in a year. And I said, "Hey, I need to talk to Paul." Paul was my boss. And he's like, "Mr. Foust, how you doing?" He goes, "You coming to get your job back?" I said, "No, Paul. Here's the thing, man. I stole a conduit bender from you a year ago, and I brought you a replacement one." And I said, I'm sorry. I should have had this back a long time ago, but it got ruined while I had it. And this is super embarrassing, but like I brought you one to replace it. And he looked me dead in the eye and he goes, "Who gives a crap?" He goes, "I
love
was
this
hoping
guy.
you were trying to get your job back." And I go, "No, man, I'm just trying to clear my conscience. I did something I shouldn't have done." And he goes, "We literally have 600 conduit benders." I'm like, "You got 601. because that's how many you should have had before I stole the other one. He goes, get out of my office. And then I left, and then that was it. But like the thing was, is like, it sounds so stupid because I knew they had a ton. I probably could have just figured they won't even notice. But the truth is I stole it, and it needed to be rectified, and God wasn't going to have that kind of mess in my life, and he made me buy him a new one and haul it back in there and have that whole conversation. And so, like, one, like, think of all the work this does, though, right? Like, one, I set the world back to rights. That wasn't mine. And I put the thing back to where it should have been, and that's fine. Two, it speaks to integrity. They know I follow Jesus there, right? And so, like, it speaks to the integrity that God expects out of his people, and that doing that simple thing speaks all kinds of volumes into the people around you, where you're not doing the things the way everybody else would do them, right? Because God doesn't tolerate that mess. And it is mess. So anyway, yeah, you need to tell them. You got to turn yourself in.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Secular says, stopping this, quotes, madness within yourself on your own obviously isn't working. Embarrassing as it may be, the time has come to admit to someone who is qualified to help you that you need it. Your doctor or medical insurance company may be able to refer you to a licensed psychotherapist while keeping the matter confidential. Please don't wait to reach out.
Yeah, I would actually, before I presume it's actually like a psychological thing, I would do the reckoning part.
Yeah.
People are always like, oh, I can't really stop. I don't know. Just wait till you face the consequences one time, and then you tell me that you can't stop. I've been motivated by facing consequences. I'm like, I can't give this up or whatever, and then like, it comes to reckon, and then suddenly I don't have a problem with this thing for a year, and so like I just, sometimes my wife finds me, I got peanut butter and jelly in the shed, and she finds out about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah, crap, got caught. And then I'm just saying, like, facing the music there, especially if you volunteer for it, I wouldn't presume that it's actually some sort of like long-standing, you need a bunch of psychological help. I'd try the reckoning first.
Yeah, and don't forget the thought that like sin is communal, right? Even the sins that you commit personally, it affects your community. And so it does matter. And so like the psychotherapist route, we're not saying that you don't need some help, but if you think that you're going to get help without taking responsibility for what you did, that's not help.
Yeah, actually, and that's the reason I brought it up is because like in some ways it's almost a deferral of responsibility. Like sometimes you just straight up sinful. You wanted to do a thing. It felt fun. It looked fun. It thought fun. Whatever it was, and you just wanted to do it. And to go, oh, I think I got something that's maybe like slightly miswired in my brain. Like totally happens to people, and like some folks really need help in this area. But like sometimes you're just selfish. You're self-centered, and you wanted to do a thing, and you chose to do a thing. You didn't care if it hurt other people or took from someone else, and you enjoyed it. It just wasn't enough for you to stop. And so, like, I'm cautious. This is the thing: is that like it's. If I had this last episode for the same problem, is that like you can totally hear me wrong. I'm not saying people don't need help with some of these types of things, or that your brain can't be working against you at times. But what I'm telling you is that like it isn't facing the consequences and the reality of your sinful behavior for you to act like it's some sort of something miswired in there or an imbalance of chemicals, when really you're just selfish and sinful, and that's what you chose.
Yes.
And so just like reckon with that first, and then see what the playing field looks like.
Okay, ready? Last one.
Okay.
Dear Live, from the past, I am one of 3 sisters. Our family is pretty close-knit for birthdays and celebrations. However, it has become increasingly problematic in terms of finances. My siblings and I do pretty well, and it's often assumed that I'm doing very well. I know I am blessed to have my job, but with this income comes sizable expenses, such as private school, sports clubs, and my own children's birthdays. My problem is my middle sister contacted me about hosting a celebration for our younger sister's approaching birthday. Over the years, it has frequently fallen on our shoulders to finance her birthday celebrations. Her husband never lifts a finger or offers to pay for them. I'm tired of having to foot a bill of between $500 to $1,000, but I don't want to be a Grinch either. I have my own family expenses. Am I being unreasonable?
No. I feel like no.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, like, I understand family is family and, like, you should, but, like, if no one else is, like, ever willing to pay and they just expect you to pay because you have a lot of money, I don't know. I feel like,
Yeah.
I feel like no one will, like, take that offensively and be like,
Yeah, to say, hold up, like, we can do this, but let's talk about how we're going to split up some of this cashola.
yeah.
$1,000 seems a lot for a birthday.
Like if they're
Yeah.
expecting you to pay for everything, like the whole thing every time, I just feel like that's kind of obnoxious.
Not only that, but $1,000 to like $500 for like birthday. I feel like that's kind of quite a
That's-
bit.
It seems, but now I suppose like take them and put them out of our normal income range, right? $500 to $1,000 to a rich guy, very much like Dwayne the Rock Johnson with his Snickers purchase. This is a big nothing burger, right? It sounds like she's more standing on principle. Like they can afford it. It's not like it's going to hurt them to afford it. It seems odd that you're like, well, I made all this money and now I have big expensive things to pay for, like private school and tennis courts and
Yeah.
No,
golf
that,
club.
that income doesn't come with those
I
expenses.
mean,
No,
maybe
you
you
just
opted
like
into them.
if
Yes,
you're gonna
right.
pay for this birthday party, which yes, other people probably should be helping, but if you're gonna do it, like set yourself a limit. I mean, this birthday party doesn't have to be so extravagant, you know?
Yeah, well,
Like,
or
if-
you can say, look, I mean, I can throw $300 at it,
Right.
right? Like figure out what you feel comfortable with, and be like,
Right.
hey, it's Annie's birthday. Can you hold it at your house? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to do it here. I bet our family can probably chip in for like $300. What are you guys thinking?
Right. Like
Well-
I can host it, I can help plan it, and this is how much money I'm gonna give. Like
Yeah,
You know?
I can probably cover the food. Can you get like the whatever, the wine, or I don't know,
Right.
whatever they order at fancy parties? But yeah, like it feels like you. First of all, you can be upset about this, but you can't be upset about it if you haven't brought it up. Like if
Right.
you haven't said, "Hey, man, this is getting out. This is getting expensive. My family can't really take this kind of burden, so let's do like I can do X amount of dollars." If you have said none of those things, you got no ledge to stand on.
Yeah.
right. Like
Right,
are
be-
you asking them for help
Yes.
at all?
Yeah, and like I mean, it's not really a big secret here, but like Ben and I grew up pretty poor, right? Like I always know what it feels like to go to somebody else's house that wasn't poor, and so yeah, I assumed they were buying soda that day, you know, and like that wasn't because I was a jerk. It was just because if the soda was on us, we weren't going to bring it.
There wouldn't be any.
There
yeah,
was
yeah.
not going to be soda, and so
Yeah.
like some of this is just kind of social norm, figuring things out kind of stuff, and some of it is like you didn't say anything. So like if you've already mentioned it and it's still a problem, then yeah, I'd get the talons out and go, that's it. $300 is the most I'm doing. But if
Yeah.
you've said nothing about this problem's on you.
Right.
I feel like $1,000 is kind of a lot for a birthday.
No, yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I feel like most like okay, I'm an only child, so my parents are. I'm very grateful for my parents.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, just have a good old backyard birthday party. Invite a couple friends.
And a band.
No,
And
a band's
waiters.
expensive.
Gotta have waiters, Bryce. Come on.
Buy a Costco sheet cake. Those things are the best, and everybody loves them.
Yeah. Costco sheet cake and some horse meat.
Yeah.
And invite the neighbors over.
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
Oh.
I bet that costs you a good, I don't know, $300, $400. Like, probably not even.
300 for a sheet cake?
No, for
No,
a horse.
no, for the whole thing.
For the horse meat.
Yeah, the
Oh.
horse. I mean, the horses
horse
are
meat's
expensive.
Well, then
Maybe.
don't buy horse
But
meat.
like, also like, that could be like if you're just getting a sheet cake and inviting people over. I mean, like, you're getting gifts for your kid because it's your kid. Like,
Yeah.
you love them a lot, so it's like. But it's just $1,000 is.
I mean, be
lot.
transparent. Like, stuff does cost a lot of money, and so like
Yeah.
even like we house church, right? And so like when we feed breakfast to people and feed like 30, 35 people or whatever a morning, it's hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
It's not cheap, right? And so you're like, that sounds like a lot, but really, like as soon as you start getting 30, 40, 50 people invited, $500 is not outrageous, right?
Yeah.
By the time that you feed all these folks, and so like. I don't know. Like in our head, we're like, there's a bunch of cocktail waiters and like a fountain and a harpist, and like I don't think it's probably that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, once again, if the money is the issue, then see, she brought up like the husband isn't helping for some
Right.
reason. Who gives a crap about this guy? Like this is completely unnecessary. If the money's the problem, let the money be the problem.
Yeah.
If the husband not helping's the problem, the husband not helping should be the problem. But you can't just take like a bunch of negative things and pile them together and then deliver it in one big ball and be like, I hate all this stuff, right? You're not thinking about it right.
I wonder if
Also-
it's not even just a financial thing. If she's also like, this is totally my responsibility because no one else is taking charge.
Yeah.
So then she feels like she has to do it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, did you ask the husband to pay? Like, have you asked him to pay? Like, I understand if you asked him, but have you asked him yet? Like, maybe he's like, I don't have to pay for it. All of them are taking care of it. Why? Like,
Yeah, it could be an honest mistake.
Maybe he thinks you want to pay for it. Like so
Yeah.
so if the money like
Could be your
I
love
guess there's
language.
multiple ways to handle this, right? Like if the money's the problem, either set your limit. I think that makes a lot of sense. Or don't stop making money the problem. Be glad to give it. People can't steal from you what you're willing to give them. People can't take advantage of you what you're willing to offer. And so, like, if that money actually isn't a big deal, it's just like you feel like your middle sister should be thinking about this. You don't have to be the world's teacher. It's not required. And so, if like otherwise your relationships are good, then like
Just pay for it.
pay for it. What do you? I mean, like, do you? The question is just like, why do you care? Hey, it's causing my sister to be like, I feel like they're taking advantage of me. Well, either tell them they're taking advantage of you, and so you can stop being taken advantage of, or be willing to just pay it, and then they're not taking advantage of you. They're just accepting a gift. And so, like, you can. I think it's fine to set the limit. But like, you need to check I'd check your ego, because a lot of times we're like, I got to teach them a lesson. I'll be honest, we have this problem at my house. I got like, my family often talks to each other as if it's their job to like teach everybody around them a lesson. You always talk like this. You always say this thing this way. Blah blah blah. Like, it's very hard to take the gracious stance that goes, oh boy, they said something kind of odd or offensive there. I'm just gonna ignore it and otherwise treat it as if they were treating me kind and just go about my business. Like, you do have the option just to not to get hosed off about it. And
Yeah.
so. If the money's crunching you or whatever, then that's fine. But like, really, if you're just trying to teach someone a lesson, just skip it. Just go ahead and just pay for it and let it go. It's not your job.
I think that's the better route, actually. Okay, here we go. Secular says, you are not being unreasonable. You are stating facts. Have a frank talk with your middle sister about your feelings. Tell her you think it's time for the two of you to approach this brother-in-law and suggest he pitch in for his wife's milestone birthday. And in the future, if you plan to host any more birthday parties for her, make them more modest.
Wait, so this was only one birthday?
Yeah.
This was. Oh, I thought this was like an every
Yeah.
like an every year
I thought
thing.
this was an annual thing.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they keep asking her every year. She's just particularly upset about this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be upset if I had siblings and I were older and they were like, "Hey, my kid's going. I want to go to Adventureland for my kid's birthday. Can you pay for it? Because I don't have any money." Like,
People do this at weddings all the time. Hey, you want to be a bridesmaid? It's going to cost you $700. You're like, no.
Okay. All right, good. Well, you're listening live from the bath. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We really do appreciate it. I thank you guys for being gracious with us. I know we started off a little bit tricky there, but I think we got her dialed in. And so big thanks to that. Fellas, thanks for joining us here on Live from the Path.
Yeah.
If you guys got some feedback for Bryson Leaf, just hit up the old Live from the Path complaint line, 515-517-0085. Call or text 515-517-0085. Now, I warned you a few weeks ago, the summer does look a little bit dicey. I think I'm out next week, and I think we got some hit and miss going on. I do think there's maybe a good chance we might be able to hear from Buva here in a few weeks, and that'll be fun. He's got a really cool story of Jesus to tell, and so we're excited to hear that. But in the meantime, be faithful in the means. God will handle the ends. You've been listening to Live from the Path.